Hi everyone. So today I thought I would just try and clarify some of the information around tourist visas, or e-visas, they're also known as, here in Saudi Arabia. While I will start by saying it is a very simple process. You just go onto visitsaudi.com and you literally fill out an online form. Once we filled it out, it was granted within maybe 5 minutes. The only slight hiccup that we faced was the fact that me and my daughter have different passports. So I have an Australian passport and hers is Canadian. So we did ring the helpline to see how we could apply for that, because you can either apply as an individual or a group. So we tried to apply for the group because a minor has to have a parent, otherwise they won't, with the application, otherwise they won't grant the application. So because when you apply for a group application, everyone in that group has to have the same passport. So it has to be all Australian or all Canadian. So we couldn't do that. So I phoned the helpline and I spoke to somebody, and they said that because of that reason, we had to visit an embassy or a consulate and apply through them and get it granted through them, which for us was a bit of an issue because we were on a bit of a tight deadline and we needed to get back into the country. So for some reason, I don't know why, we just decided to try and do individual ones for her and me without knowing if it would work, because as I said, any minor had to have an accompanying adult application, and to do that, what we were told is they had to be the same passport. So we just happened to try the individuals. So I applied for mine, it was granted, and then I applied for hers separately. And even though she was a baby, only a few months old, hers was granted. So within 10 minutes, they were both granted. So if you're in a similar situation, I would try and do individual applications for you and your child or children, rather than doing a group if you have different passports, that is. So the e-visa, or the tourist visa, is a 12-month visa, but it only entitles you to 90 days in the country. Now, the confusion around this is most other countries, if you have a 12-month visa, you can be in the country for 90 days, leave, and then come back and the 90 days restarts. So as far as I'm aware, that's most other countries. The thing with Saudi is you have a 12-month visa, but you are only entitled to a total of 90 days in the country in the entire 12 months. So if you choose to use 10 days, leave, come back for 10 days, you can do that up to a total of 90 days. If you use the 90 days at once and then leave, that's it. You cannot get back into Saudi Arabia on that visa. So you are responsible for keeping track of how many days you're in the country. You don't get any notification, yep, your visa's out of date this day. If you come and go, you need to keep track, because as I said, you can come back in with 1 day left on your visa and no one will say you've only got 1 day left on your visa. So you have to be very on top of that, because if you overstay the visa, it's 100 SAR per person per day. So for me and my daughter, we weren't able to leave the country exactly at the 90 days. We had to wait for my husband to get off work so that we could leave. And I knew we were probably 2 days over, but when we got to the border, we were apparently 6 days over each. So 600 SAR each, it cost us 1200 SAR. And once you leave, that's it. You are not entitled to come back on that visa, as I said, until the 12 months is up. Now, a lot of people in online discussion groups have said that you can come back, but we actually went on the website and tried to issue a tourist visa, and it was issued on say May, and you're not entitled until May next year. So you cannot get back in on a tourist visa. You have to apply for either a family visit visa or some other type of visa to get back in the country. Now, as I said, the most important thing is to be aware of your 90 days. While it does say in the passport when you come into the country, a lot of the times it's in Arabic, so keep track. There was a friend of mine, he he thought that once you returned to the country, you got another 90 days. So he wasn't sure how long he had left. So he came back to the country, thought he had 90 days left. And when he went to the airport, because he was over a total of 90 days, it cost him thousands of SAR because they charged him. It was his responsibility. He didn't keep track of the days. And so he was out quite a lot of money. So my advice, please, please, please keep track of your days, because you can end up paying a lot of money and they will not let you out of the country without paying that money. So as I said, he was on a flight, so in the airport he had to pay, and me and my family, we drove across the border and we had to pay before we were allowed out. So I hope that clears up the information. It is 90 days in total, not 90 days that resets, and keep track of the days.